We're going to continue going over what we were doing for our slope-intercept form from yesterday. Just as a reminder, remember slope-intercept form, we had it in the format of y is equal to mx plus or minus b. Remember the m value, boys, the m value is going to represent your slope of your equation. The b value is going to represent that y-intercept, the point that you're crossing over the y-axis, or when x is equal to 0. So yesterday we focused on identifying slope and y-intercepts from equations, and then we wrote the equation given slopes or given a graph. What I want to do today, real quickly before we move on, is focus on it from a table format, because remember, you are also responsible for being able to find these equations from the table. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to identify what the slope is going to be. Okay, so when we identify the slope, remember it's the change of y over the change of the x, the rise over the run. So for our rise, I'm going to put rise down here at the bottom. For the rise, what are we consistently increasing or decreasing by, Ollie? Increasing by 3. Every single time we are increasing by 3. We're going from 13 to 16 to 19 to 22. So we have a rise in this situation of a positive 3. And then our run, what are we increasing or decreasing by consistently for the run? John Luke? Increasing by 1. So every single time we are increasing by a value of 1. So that means that our slope, remember m is going to equal our slope, is going to be a positive 3. Okay. Now our y-intercept, our value for b, is when x is equal to 0. Do we have a value where x is equal to 0 here? No, none of these are actually equal to 0. That doesn't mean that you're not able to still work it out. So I'm going to show you guys real quickly. Let me grab a note card. I ran out of room too. If you have space somewhere on your paper, or if you don't, if you can turn it over to the back, you can write it there and just say see back, whatever you need to do to be able to showcase your space. But in order for us to find the y-intercept, okay, to find your y-intercept, when you're given a table and they don't present to you the y-intercept right off the bat, they don't give it to you when x is equal to 0, then what you can do is you can take the equation that we know, which is y is equal to m times x, and then of course we have our plus b, and you can pick a point and you can substitute. You're going to pick a point and substitute. So here's what I mean by picking a point. I'm going to look over here and I'm going to pick any one of these points. I can pick 2, 13, or I could pick 3, 16, I could pick 4, 19, I could pick 5, 22. Any one of these points I could pick. It does not matter which point you pick. I'm going to go ahead and just pick the first point. I'm going to pick that first point, and that means that I'm going to substitute these values in. So where am I going to place the 2? The 2 is going to replace what up here? What value is the 2 going to replace in this equation? Come on, guys, I should see a lot more hands. Daniel? The x, right? The 2 is an x value. So I'm going to substitute a value of 2 for my x. I have a 13 that I'm going to substitute it in. Which one of these up here is going to replace be replaced by the 13? Eli? The y, right? 13 was a y value, so we're going to replace the y with this 13. I have one other value that I can substitute. Is it going to be the m or the b? Do I know my m right now? Yeah. What is my m? 3. We just solved for it right here. We solved for m already. So we can substitute a 3 for the m. Okay, so that means that I have an equation that says 13 is equal to 3 times 2 plus b, and then I can solve. What do we need to do first? Jeremy? Multiply the 3 times 2. What is 3 times 2 going to give us? 6. So we have 13 is equal to 6 plus b. What do we do now? Sebastian? 13 minus 6, right? We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. And by subtracting 6 from both sides, we're going to find out 7 is equal to b. So there's my value for b. Okay? When you are given a table of information and they don't give you x at 0, you can still figure out what it's going to be.
Pardon the interruption. Do you have Oliver Walters for checkout?
I do.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, Ollie, the assignment's going to be on Google Classroom. Make sure that you get onto it because it's going to close, okay? All right. 12:30. Okay. All right. Shh. So here we have our value for B. We have our value for B. We have our value for M. We can now take that information. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here so that I can write it off to the side. We have y is equal to my slope, which was 3, times x. And then, again, my b value is a positive 7, so plus 7. And there's my slope-intercept form. Okay, so it's okay if they don't give you the y-intercept directly. You can use any one of these points and the slope that you solved for to be able to find the y-intercept. Same thing if they gave you 2 points. Let's say they gave you 2 points, like we did with slope formula. You could do the slope formula given those 2 points, and then you could pick one of those points to substitute into here along with your slope and solve for the y-intercept. Okay, so substitution, that's your friend. Go ahead and flip it on over to the next page. All right. Taking a look here. A kayak rental pavilion charges $15 per hour and $2.50 for a brief lesson on the kayak safety. The total cost for Y to rent the kayak for X hours is given by the equation Y is equal to 15X plus 20 or 2.5. We're going to graph this equation using the slope and the y-intercept, and then we need to interpret the slope and the y-intercept. So interpret means identify what the slope and intercept represents in the situation. Okay, so for the graph, I already made your grid for you. Go ahead and each one of these values, each tally or interval is going to be counting by ones for the x. So it's going to go all the way up to 14. And then for our y's, we'll just go ahead and count everything by 5s. And you don't have to go all the way up. Maybe go up to like 50 or something. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and identify for our y-intercept. So the y-intercept value in this situation is the 2.5. So my y-intercept is going to be 2.5. That's the first thing that we want to go ahead and do. So step one, whenever you are trying to graph with these problems, you must graph your y-intercept first. So we're going to graph the y-intercept. And our y-intercept is at 0, 2.5. So looking here at our graph, we're going to go 0 and then 2.5, which is going to be halfway between the 0 and the 5. Okay, and then like I told you guys before, when we practice the graphing on our IXLs, you are using your slope as a means to graph. Okay, you're going to use it for directions. So in this case, our slope is equal to 15. That means it's 15 over 1. 15 over 1. So we can either go up because it's positive, and then to the right because it's positive. So up 15 and then to the right 1. Or we could go down and left. Now, if I go down and to the left, is that going to make sense for the situation? No. It's going to put me in a bunch of negatives. We're talking about money. We're not going to go into the negatives when we're talking about taking classes, okay? So we're going to want to just focus on going up and to the right. So we're going to go up 15 and then to the right 1. So when I go up 15, that goes 5, 10, 15, and to the right 1. I'm not going to be at 15, comma 1. That's not what that means. It means from this point, from this position, I'm going to zoom in for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. But from this y-intercept point, we're going to go up 15 units, which means it's going to take us to 17 and a half, and then we'll go to the right 1. We started at 2.5. If we go up 15, what's 2.5 plus 15? 17.5. So we're going to 17.5 and then to the right 1. We went up 15 units to the right 1 unit. Okay? And then the same thing, I'm going to plot again. I'm going to go up another 15 units. So 5, 10, 15, and then to the right 1. That's going to take me to 32.5 for the y. And then, of course, 2 for the x. So we're just plotting these points as we go. Now, you could keep doing that if you want, 5, 10, 15, and then go again. But after you've gotten 3 points, you have to have at least 3 points plotted, you're able to connect it to make a nice, good graph. Okay? So taking, and yes, we're going to use straight edges. You want to make sure you're using a straight edge or a ruler if you've got one. Oops. And draw our line. Okay? So this is what it's going to look like graphically. So now the second part is interpreting what the slope and the y-intercept mean. So the slope is 15. What does the slope stand for?
Hello, may I have Amy Lopez?
All right, so what does the slope mean? When we talk about slope being 15, what does the 15 stand for? In this situation, look at the situation, what does the 15 stand for? Sebastian? $15 per hour to do what? To rent the kayak, right? That is your rental fee. It's $15 per hour to rent a kayak. You want to make sure that you're able to identify its purpose. Okay, and then the y-intercept. The y-intercept in this situation, what does that stand for? The 2.5, what is that going to represent? Jean-Luc? Yeah, for the brief lesson, right, on the safety, the brief safety lesson. So that's going to stand for the $2.50 for the brief lesson. Okay, so you're just giving an idea of what this is representing. Now, here's a question that I'm going to ask you offhand. Is this a linear function? Is this a linear function? Jeremy? So what does linear mean? What does linear mean? It's in a line. So is this in a straight line? Yeah. This is a linear function. Is it a proportional function? No. Proportional, it has to be straight and goes to the origin. So this is not a proportional function. I want to make sure you guys understand the difference. That this is a linear function, but not proportional. Okay, there is a difference between it being just linear and proportional, or just linear itself. Okay, proportional means it has to be linear, and through the origin. Linear just means it has to be straight. That's it. Okay, go ahead and do example number 4 on your own. Example number 4. I'm going to go ahead and show you, for the x values, go ahead and count by ones. And then for the y values, I want you to skip every other one and count by ones. Skip every other box. and count by ones. For the y values, you're going to skip every other box and count by ones, but for the x values, you're going to go by ones every single box. Okay, so again, when we are graphing for here, we are first going to start off by graphing our y-intercept. Our y-intercept in this situation is going to be at 0, 0.3 or 3.5 or 3.50. So for here, we're going to go up to the 350 mark, the 3.5 mark. Then we're going to use our slope. Our slope is equal to 0.5, which if you were to write that as a fraction, that is 1 over 2, which means we are going to go up 1 and then to the right 2. So we could go up 1 unit to the right 2 units. That would put us here at 2, 450. Then you could go up 1 whole unit and then to the right 2 units. That would put you here at 4, 650, and so on and so forth. And then you would connect them to graph. You need to make sure that you've connected them or graphed them at the correct spots. Okay, so this is what it would look like. Okay, and then when we interpret the meanings of this, so our slope is going to be equal to the 50 cents per mile. Slope is going to be equal to the 50 cents per mile, or $1 for every 2 miles, if you wanted to put it that way as well. Your y-intercept is going to be the $3.50 before your costs. Okay, that's before the cost. Before you actually start driving, they have a flat fare fee that they're going to charge you. So they charge you $3.50 just to come get you, and then 50 cents for every mile that they're driving you. Okay, we also call that an initial cost. Just making sure that you guys understand. Initial values, okay? All right, let's take a look at these examples here. So for examples 5 and example 6, we are talking about our tables of information. Okay, so we are identifying, again, the slope-intercept form based off of these 2 tables. So I want you guys to do these 2 examples on your own, identify the slope, then the y-intercept, and then what is the equation. All right, for example number 5, who can tell me what the slope is for example number 5? Ava, you haven't answered anything today. I'm so surprised.
It makes no sense at all. Yeah.
Why doesn't it make sense?
It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm having to take my own context clues here.
Hi. You don't know how to find the slope from the table?
I agree.
Hi.
Not me, I don't.
Okay, Tanner. Shh, quiet. Tanner, when we are doing slope, it's rise over run, right? Which one of these is the rise? The y. So we are looking for how we are going from one value to the next, to the next, to the next. How are we changing? Plus 12. So there's our rise. Every single time we are increasing by 12. So our rise is equal to 12. What's our run, Tanner? Plus 3, right? Our run is going to be adding 3 every single time. Okay, so we have a positive 3. So then our slope is what? 4. So what was so hard about that? Okay, so this is our slope. This is it. This is what m equals. M is equal to 4. Now, to find your intercept, to find your intercept, bye honey, you just have to plug in a point. Does it matter which point? No, it doesn't matter which point. My suggestion to you, stay away from your negatives. Sometimes you guys mess up with the negatives. So I wouldn't probably choose -2, but if you chose that, that's fine. Choose any point. I'm going to go with the 1 and the 10. Okay? I'm going to go with the 1 and the 10, and I'm going to substitute it again back into my formula. My y is equal to mx plus b so that I can just solve for b. Okay, that means that I'm replacing y with what value? The 10, right? I chose this point. If you chose -2, -2, you would replace it with a -2. If you chose 4, 22, you would replace it with a 22, and so on and so forth. I chose the 110, so I'm choosing to replace it with a 10. My m can be replaced now. What can we replace m with? 4, because we solved for m already. We can replace it with a 4. The x can be replaced with what value? The 1, because this is the point that I chose. Because I chose the 110, I have to use the 1. I can't use any other value if I'm using this 10. Okay, and then we have plus b. So the y-intercept would be 6, yes. When we solve it, we're going to get 10 is equal to 4 plus b. Then we would just subtract 4 from both sides, and we would get b is equal to 6. So then we can just place that into our equation. Our equation is y equals 4 for the slope, x plus 6. Okay, one more time. For the person who just said, huh? Leave him alone, because if he's not understanding still, I'm going to blame you. Okay? Tanner, all we did is we picked a point. Does it matter what point I picked, Tanner? No. Doesn't matter. I picked 110. Then all I did was substitute. I substitute the y and replace it with the 10 because y was equal to 10. I substitute the m with the 4 because we just found that slope was 4. I substitute the x with a 1 because x was equal to 1. And then we solve. That's it. Do you understand?
No.
What don't you understand then? You got to tell me. You've got to tell me what part did not make sense. Did you understand why we substituted those numbers?
I'm confused about all of it. We subtract the same thing with different numbers. Still on substitute.
Do you want me to show you?
Yes.
Sure. Pick another point.
422.
422. All right, let's go with that. So for y is equal to m times x plus b. We're going to replace the y, Tanner. What would we replace the y with? 22. What would we replace the m with? You got to wait. The 4. And what would we replace the x with? If you're coming in here to show me a delta math right now, I'm going to put you in silent lunch. I just told you to wait. 4. Okay? So now we have this as our problem here. We have 22 is equal to 4 times 4 plus b. Tanner, what are we going to do first? Multiply 4 times 4. What is 4 times 4? 16. So now we have 22 is equal to 16 plus b. Now what do we need to do? Okay, subtract 16 from both sides. And what is 22 minus 16? 6. And look at that. It's still 6. Okay? The reason it still works is because it's not just one number changing. It's both numbers changing proportionally. Okay? It doesn't matter which point you choose, Tanner. Is that understood?
Yeah.
Do you get it now?
I think so.
Okay, so then great. You're going to walk me through this one.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Nope, Tanner's going to walk me through it. All right, Tanner, tell me what I got to do first. Shh. Quiet. Tanner. Hey, Tanner, we can't go to lunch until you walk us through this.
I'll take a nap.
All right. Come on, Tanner. Tell me what we got to do first. Hush. Tell me what to do first, Tanner. Okay, so what's that called again? Finding the rise over run, which is called the what? Hey, the longer you guys keep distracting him, the longer we're stuck in here. So nobody should be talking except Tanner. Tanner, what is rise over run called again?
I don't know.
Tanner, what word do we call it when we're doing rise over run? Thank you. We are finding the slope. We are finding the slope. Okay, so our slope, in case you needed me to write that again, what is the slope going to be, Tanner?
For the Y, we would say,
Okay, so for the rise, not the y, the rise is going to be 6.
for the X, it would be 8.
It's not called the x, it's called the what? The run. For the run, it's going to be 8. Okay, now what do we do? You gotta,
Write Y equals MX plus B.
first we gotta simplify though. First we gotta simplify.
3 over 4.
3 over 4. Okay, now we can write that y is equal to mx plus b. Okay, Tanner, what do you want to do now?
We had a mark of
Tell me which one you want to choose.
equals 7.
Okay, so you want to choose this point? 12, 7?
12, 7.
Okay, so you got to tell me, you're going to pick a point. Does it matter which point we pick? No. So you said y is going to be what?
Equals 7.
Okay. Then what? M is equal to what? Hey, Tanner, we're recording this and I'm going to send it to your mom. M is equal to what? M is equal to what?
3 over 4.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Please stop talking, guys. Now what are we going to do?
Multiply
And what does that equal?
9.
9. Now what?
Subtract 9 from both sides.
And what do we get?
The -2.
-2. Okay, so then we substitute it back in. We're going to get y is equal to 3/4 x minus 2. That's it.
Let's go, Peter.
Okay. When you come back, you've got an assignment that's going to be due before you leave.
Do it.